Great. We're live on YouTube, so you can always check out this recording if you need or maybe you get interrupted. So without wasting much further time, okay, happy Labor Day to everybody. I can see Val is wishing all of us happy Labor Day. I had forgotten to do the holiday. It's Labor Day here in Kenya. Happy Labor Day to everybody. Happy New Month also. I just want to pass this baton to Louis, who's going to be taking us through our today's session. And the bigger question is, why should you buy crypto? Even before you get to know how to buy, why should you? Because at the end of it all, we are all seeking and looking for alternative ways of adding maybe some more money in our portfolio or even capital or whatever. The bigger question is, why should you go for crypto? Why should you not the market that you understand? And I think when you understand the why, the what and everything else falls into place. So let me just pass this back to Louis, and I'll be coming back for Q&A and also for to share with you what has been happening with the news around the world. So great, Val, I'm going to share that in a few minutes, the YouTube link. So let me just make Louis the host so that you can take us through today's session.
All right. Thank you, Lawrence, for that quick introduction and welcoming everyone. I hope you can also hear me and see me, though the lighting is not very good. We'll have that fixed. But nonetheless, happy holiday, of course, to everyone who is here today. We're always learning, always getting to learn new stuff, new things, because you need to, with all these talks and excitement and everything that is happening, you need to cut through all that and see the bigger sense of it, so that you don't lose focus in case of any eventuality. So, as usual, my name is Louis, and I'm here with Lawrence. And for us, is just to give you clear-cut information on how you can maneuver through the industry, because everything for the first time is not easy to understand, even to grasp, even to give it a look. But such sessions like this gives you that confidence for you to get to see the bigger picture, get to spend more time on it, get to grow your also portfolio as these are a growing asset class. So without wasting much time, let me go ahead and share my screen. It's going to be a very exciting session, because we're going to learn a couple of stuff from people that we follow, and also it's basically giving you the broader look about cryptocurrencies, not just price, because everybody is talking about price until people forget that there's a serious technology that is underlying all this. Price will always be there, up and down, but if you miss out the basic point, you may not see the bigger picture. So let me go ahead and share my screen. I think Lawrence already shared the YouTube link on the chat. You can also, again, remind your friends, anybody who wants to learn something new, because in this Bitcoin on session, we don't promote any company. We don't give any recommendations. We're just giving you clear-cut information. So with that done, let me go ahead and share my screen. So I'm going to take about maybe 20 minutes, 20 or 20 to 25 minutes for this session, just for us to get a clear understanding of what we are talking about. So I hope my screen is quite clear right now. All right. So the topic for today I thought to do is why should you care about Bitcoin or these more than 8,000 cryptocurrencies right now? Why should you care? So before I go ahead, of course, this is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor, but what follows is basically our personal opinion, and at times, of course, it's subject to bias depending on where we are. So yeah, thank you, Lawrence, for sharing the YouTube link. You can also share our Telegram channel, so that at least people can get to follow us, what we do every day as we grow ourselves. So the topic today, of course, will cover why should we care about cryptocurrencies. What does the investment aspect of have to do with making this work? basically what makes it run, what makes it work. Why are people giving this attention? And then, of course, maybe I'll talk about a little bit about the underlying technology, just a little bit, because it's just a brief session without going into the specifics. What is hype and where and why? What is it here to stay? Because you need to know that hype, like anything, like fashion, comes and go. Fashion comes and goes. You see a new fashion this year. 2 years, you'll see something else in the market. And of course, most importantly, where to start. This is where now will now show you how to download a wallet, how to sign up in an exchange. We'll give you possibly what we ourselves do or what we use. Basically, how you can buy it, store it depending on your strategy of once you've seen the bigger picture. So I think I thought to start this session with this particular image, and I'm sure most of us maybe you wouldn't remember. This was back, I think, in the early 2000 in or late, I think actually early 2000. This was the biggest provider in terms of telecommunication, that is Safaricom, did an advert on the newspaper, and this is how they actually chose to word it: money transfer before. So you can see, I think the images are quite self-explanatory. You see somebody wants to send money to their mother. Of course, you have to put it in an envelope or something. Then by bus, it will go. Then you can see the process. I have to explain. But today, that was now then when Safaricom was launching mobile transfer services. You can see you go to an agent where you find an agent. There's a phone over there. They send of course, they deposit money to the agent's account. Then, of course, the grandmother or the mother gets the message and goes to the agent from where they are. And then with that, they are able to receive the money. And that took a little bit of seconds. Today, this is done. This is like now normal. Nobody needs to do this education anymore. It is a already accepted way of transacting and transferring money. But they had to do this awareness. You can see how simple it was, how basic it was. But it's now that people take for this take granted education. That's why for us we are here to educate you and show you the basics. So as I meet new people, just as I also read on what you're saying, the number one trend to keep up with, of course, now is blockchain. And where does it start? So if you look at it, take the internet, for example, had you stayed at the age of its development from 1993 until today, you could have benefited even more than you already do. All of us, we are holding this meeting, this session on the internet. That is one of the successful innovations that internet brought. Most of us, I believe, you have a smartphone, you have a bank account, you have you basically, you can say you are digitized. That is what started back from 1993. Plus, as you can see, it continues it continues to fundamentally change how the world works, as I've said, which is why it is most important to understand it. So I don't know, where were you back then in 1993? Maybe you can share on the chat. I think we are about 19 people. Where were you back in 1993? Where were you? Let me see on this. Let's try and have this a bit interactive. We don't want to be like one-sided. Where were you in 1993? Had you heard about internet? Did you even have an email account? So let's see the chats. Let's see even 2 comments just to see. Oh, somebody was in primary school. I think that's Lawrence. I don't know. Valerie, who else is there? Let's see. Where were you in 1993 when all this was starting? Then you can get to see the kind of crowd that we have today. So maybe just typing on the chat as I continue. Lemaron says he was working Stoke College, so I think that was quite interesting. Lemaron, thank you for that. Who else? Let me see who's there to tell us where they were in 1993. So Tom saying drinking maziwa nyayo. Oh, interesting. Yes, I think myself also I was maybe around there drinking maziwa nyayo. That is quite good. But the good thing is that this time, what is different is you've got the memo. You have the memo about blockchain. You are not either drinking maziwa nyayo, you are not in school. You're actually getting to understand what this is all about. So open blockchain, the underlying technology of Bitcoin and most cryptocurrencies is what the new internet is. And right now it is 1993. So take yourself back to that time and you're getting to learn about some new technology. So blockchain is a specific structure for managing networks and transactions with them. What's very important is that it eliminates third parties like banks, real estate agents, governments, and thus plus enable people to transfer money, goods, and even authority from one person to another. No permission, nobody help is needed. So this is one GIF image that was prepared by one of my good friends that I actually follow. We follow him, Dan Held, one of the people who've been on the blockchain, actually the Bitcoin since the early inception. So he put like what we call a sort of a money flower. So as you can see over there, you can Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies are very many things. Is one. There is the fact of it is money. It's a computer science. There is some politics and law. There is some form of what do you call trading and investing. There's a digital security that is now physical like passwords and everything. There is a game theory in terms of the money supply and demand, and of course, most importantly, it's open source software. So this summarizes what Bitcoin is. So depending on where you are, you can actually approach it from a tech perspective, from a finance perspective, from a political perspective, from an investment perspective. So that all is what puts together Bitcoin into one. So it's basically how you choose to interact with it. For now, that is what I was trying to get into. But eventually, these are the potential applications of the blockchain technology, from cybersecurity to supply chain management. You can see that retail, Internet of Things, insurance, transportation. So in the next 10 years, we'll be talking about how this technology has basically disrupted all these industries. As you can see over there, there are more than 15, and that's how the industry is going to change. And you can imagine what would be the value of it then. Today, I think we are sitting at about $2.1 trillion, the value of cryptocurrencies, $2.1 trillion. So in the next 5 years, that could be 10 times what it is today. That's about now about 20 trillion or even 100 trillion, depending on where it is. So evidently, the early internet was clunky. It was complex and hard to use. The current state of blockchain is pretty much the same. It is slow. It requires a lot of know-how. You need to take time to understand. As you can see what you did today, it doesn't scale, but it doesn't mean that it's not equally as powerful. It will disrupt entire business sectors and like the internet, create new ones we never could have imagined. So that is the reason actually why you should care to know about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. Because I'm sure most of us, you may be in one of these industries. You may be in government, you may be in charity, you may be in cloud computing, you may be in healthcare, you may be in energy, real estate, all that. So eventually, you may have to do something related to blockchain. For now, maybe you don't have to, but with time, that will change. So the other reason, maybe as I go to the second part, is that that is an image I think most of us maybe, as you can see there's a whole stacks of currencies that is fiat currency, and maybe that's about 1 kilo or 2 kilos of meat. That is how much cash you need to buy that size of meat. That is this actually is in Venezuela. So you need all that amount of cash to buy the 2 kg or 1.5 kgs of meat in Venezuela. Of course, in the US, if you again, that is how much cash, physical cash, you need to buy. That is tomatoes. So you can see how inefficient it is. How basically there is no value in that currency. So imagine if you're buying a car, how much cash would you need to carry? If you're buying a house, so that tells you how money with time loses. That is currency. Currency with time loses value, and this is the other reason why people tend to now get to buy Bitcoin, to hold Bitcoin for the long term, because with it the value gets to increase. So this is another example, just to break the point of inflation down. You can see over there. Let me just try and expand this a bit, maybe to be more visible. Okay. Yeah, so this is actually I got it from Investopedia. It has very good content in terms of learning about cryptocurrencies. So they just, as you can see over there, how inflation has changed the price of a cup of coffee over time. Earlier, I was showing you the price, the amount of cash you needed to buy meat and tomatoes. That is in Venezuela. Now let's look at the U.S., a first world country that has been there for ages. So back in 1970, a cup of coffee would cost you $0.25. $0.25. That's about in Kenya. That's about 25 shillings if you use 100 shillings rate of exchange. In 1980s, it went to $45. Sorry, $0.45. That's like double the amount. 1990, go to 75, $0.75. In 2000, it got to $1. So you can imagine, say the same cup of coffee, nothing has changed, but you now need more currency to basically get it. 2010, it's $1.25. In 2019, it is $1.59. So I don't know how much is a Starbucks coffee right now, and maybe you can check quickly on the internet to see how much it is right now. Let me just, I don't know whether I can get it, Starbucks coffee price. So I hope you are getting to understand why it is. So you can see freshly brewed coffee. Let me just zoom that in. Of Starbucks coffee, it's what $1.89. That is what it is right now. But 2019, 2019 it was what? So you can see it has already gone up from 1.59 to about 1.85. So what tells you that next year it will be, of course, by next year it will be at $2. In the next couple of years, it will be at $2.25. So the same cup of coffee, but you keep paying more. So what is happening? Currency is losing value through time. That's why cryptocurrencies is actually coming to solve that in the long term. So another point to talk about. These are one quote that maybe this was done by Albert Einstein. He said, "Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays it." So again, let me read that. Compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. He who understands it earns it, and he who doesn't pays for it. So as you can see, whoever said that, they are right. And compound interest is just one of the many design flaws of our monetary system. This is what now I just talk about inflation and all that. That's what I've been talking about. Yeah, that is actually the motive force in there that they really make. It's actually unfair. It's unfair, and how is it unfair? Top bankers, sports stars, movie celebrities are paid astronomical sums without taking any risks. They are actually paid a lot of money based on what they are doing. That is how the monetary system is actually currently wired. Meanwhile, doctors, nurses, political decision makers, teachers are often walk away with a lot less while they are carrying away the most responsibilities. I mean, I'm sure all of us here will agree with me. Doctors, nurses, political decision makers, these are researchers, these are professors, teachers. They do a lot of work, but they get paid in peanuts. That is the flow of the current monetary system. That's why cryptocurrencies and even Bitcoin in this case is trying to now put a rebalance to that. So as I end this part of my session on why you should actually get to understand why Bitcoin is important, I'll read from somebody called Naval Ravikant, one of the crypto's premier thinkers, said about the subject in his basically when he first saw the magnitude of cryptocurrency. He said, once you figure it out, it's hard to think about anything else. It's hard to think that there are any other thing that's going on as important. This once you figure out what Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is coming to change. Now, of course, it's probably not true. It's big. It's a big and complicated world, and there are lots of lots of unimportant things going on. But anyone who is interested in the intersection of politics, economics, technology, finance will just find cryptocurrency and blockchains to be a really to be this really interesting rabbit hole. So he ends by saying, I think humans have created something that's larger than ourselves. It's like when we first invented markets. When you invented something that big, it's hard for anyone to figure out how it works. We are all now collectively trying to figure out how to describe it and what its properties are. It almost feels like that there's an organism larger than ourselves that we are trying. We are all trying. We are all working and co-evolving with it. So that is what this guy actually said about cryptocurrencies, and that's why most of us were here to get to understand because we've seen the bigger picture. As I end this session, is as I on the last paragraph, it takes a while to settle, but once the gears starts clicking into your place in your head, your eyes will slowly open to the massive potential of this technology and why it's important that you understand it, regardless of which side you take or how much you are interested in investing or even giving time. So I think that was my take for the day on how actually you should take time and learn the basics, understand the key fundamentals that runs this industry. So again, maybe I can leave that just to summarize that cryptocurrencies or rather blockchain and Bitcoin and everything is economics, it's software, it's a game theory, it's politics and law, it's some form of trading and investment, it's computer science. So depending on which way you choose to interact with it, it's up to you to find value in it. And again, remember, this is where we are. We are still now trying to show people how these things operate. And with time, all shall be well. So let's go to the last part of now. How do you start? Where do you start when you want to be, let's say, buy your first cryptocurrency? Because of course, you may want to convert your cash you may want to convert your cash into now cryptocurrencies. And where do you do that? Number one, you can go to an exchange. One of the things that myself I use, also Lawrence uses, what we call Binance. Is one of the I think easy to use, and also it supports very many cryptocurrencies. So number one, you have to sign up on Binance. Maybe Lawrence can share the link of Binance, because for those who don't have an account with Binance, this is where you start. And once you have an account with Binance, of course, you have to verify yourself. You have to do a small KYC so that you can at least start making your first Bitcoin purchase or Bitcoin sell. That is, if you have. So that is the number one way to do it. Get an account with an exchange or a wallet. That's how you can start. So, of course, I don't want to take you through the process, but it's a very 1 to 3 step whereby you register. Most of us know how to I believe you have an email address. You can actually sign up with that. So you choose your password and everything. Once you get that, now you go to you'll see what we call buy crypto. How to buy crypto on P2P. So P2P is what? P2P is peer-to-peer. You are buying from other Bitcoin traders, and for your comfort, Binance has a, you can say there is a way it basically says safeguards yourself and also safeguards the trader, so you don't get to lose money that you're buying or that you're spending. So there are various ways on how you can do that. So that is number one way. The other way, which actually could be easy if you are in a country whereby there are Bitcoin ATMs, you can see over there. At the moment, we have more than 19,182 ATMs globally. So the same way you normally have your card, or rather your Visa card, you can also download a wallet, a mobile wallet that is now different from the exchange wallet. Once you have the wallet, it's like an app. You go to the ATM machine. Of course, you have to insert your dollars or your Kenya shillings there or your pounds. Then it will ask you how many bitcoins you want to purchase based on the rate. Then you will send the bitcoins to you. So that is the simple ways of how you can basically get to run your first wallet. So maybe Lawrence can also share like the link for blockchain wallet for those who wants to start. Of course, you require a lot of patience. If you're not tech savvy, just take a little bit of patience to learn the basics. It's not hard. It's very easy actually. When the more you do it, the more you get better. But because as you can see over there, more than we have Bitcoin ATMs in more than 73 countries all across the world, from US to South America to Africa to Europe to Russia to Southeast to Asia, Japan to Australia. So they are Bitcoin ATMs. So these are just how the ecosystem is growing. So as I finish, I think the last part of what I have to share was okay, you need to know to understand. Okay, once you buy your Bitcoin or once you buy your cryptocurrencies, why are you buying it? Because the same thing as I finished from where I started. Let me ask the same question that people normally do. We are known to invest in real estate. We are not to invest in businesses. Of course, every other thing you invest into, you want to make some profits. You have to make some gains based on what you've invested. So, depending on how you or when you buy your first Bitcoin, you should have a long term mindset that when you buy land, let's say in Sokimau or in let's say somewhere, you don't buy to sell tomorrow. You don't buy to sell after 1 year. You buy to sell after some couple of years when the prices have gone up. So the same concept, the same mindset is what you have to do when you are coming into cryptocurrencies. So maybe next time we'll do a live test run on how you can actually do that. But stay tuned. We are here to guide you through. If in case you have any challenge, always make sure that you follow our channel and make sure you basically know how to maneuver it, but we're here to see you through. So with that, I think that does it for me. I didn't have much to talk about today. I think that was it's about what I think it's about time. I think I've finished. So thank you very much, and I'll be at the chat if in case anybody wants to ask any question, because at the end of the session I think we'll have a small Q and A. Otherwise, thank you very much, and have a blessed day ahead. Let me pass the hosting rights back to Lawrence for the news, because there been a couple of news today in the week that stood up. So it's good to know what has been happening all across the globe in terms of cryptocurrencies. So thank you very much, and bye bye.
Okay. Great sharing, Louise. That was a very nice session. I think most of the time people don't really get to understand where we've come, where we are heading, and stuff. The reason that's why most of us are so excited about Bitcoin and blockchain is when you think of internet. And I think 1990, I was listening to one of the guys who we follow, and he was saying in 1990s when he was really into internet, a lot of people are saying internet is used by people who do pornography or nerds, people who do gaming, bad things. That was internet then. And I think when you think of blockchain and how disruptive blockchain gonna be, it just leaves you in awe. And of course, I tell people the reason that's why we share what we share every day is because one thing is for real. 10 years gonna pass today, just like 12 years have passed since 2009 when Bitcoin started. And one thing you need to ask yourself is, what are you doing to get to really understand where the world is heading? As a person, what are you doing? And I like that Louis has taken us back, like when mobile money transfer M-Pesa started, and how they used to do adverts and stuff. And I think that's the whole thing that is happening in cryptocurrencies too, and especially blockchain technology. We talked about cryptocurrency as the first thing that happened on blockchain. We went to smart contracts on Ethereum blockchain, DeFi, that is decentralized finance. Now we have what we call NFTs. And again, now real estate is coming on board. I think among the 15 things that Louis had shared with us, we saw real estate as part of the things that are happening. Now, I want to start my sharing with something I'm looking for. Just 1 second. Let me share my screen and then we can start all over. Now, I want to start there. That's number one. Today, Bitcoin price is starting at $58,000. And in Kenya shillings, that will be for people who are in in Kenya shillings, that will be around 6.2 million Kenya shillings. And my excitement comes because I knew this when it was 9 cents dollars, and again 8,000 Kenya shillings or $80. And of course, because of lack of information, lack of places to go and buy crypto, I missed it. So the reason that's why I'm so passionate about this is because 10 years from now, 5 years from now, you're going to be seated somewhere and you'll be having a conversation with somebody somewhere, and you'll be telling them, I knew Bitcoin when it was $58,000. Maybe back then it would be $500,000. Who knows? Who knows? With this kind of adoption that is happening across the globe is just amazing. So straight to the news, and I start with this. Luis was talking about why should you care about Bitcoin, and I start with this. It says what? Taxes don't matter. People race to Bitcoin because of government-induced inflation. And I guess this is another reason as to why you should consider part of your money to be in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. People are running to Bitcoin. Why? Because of to hedge themselves against inflation. And I saw this really interesting because a renowned developer, let me just read a little bit, a renowned developer, Bitcoin developer and prominent Jimmy Song says the reason interest in Bitcoin is driven by government-induced inflation. He said this is a reaction to the recent news of a proposed tax increase by the administration. Taxes don't matter because the government can steal from us whenever they want through inflation. This is why people are coming into Bitcoin. I guess this is one of the other reasons you should consider putting part of your cash into cryptocurrency. And this is not a financial advice, let's remember. Now we go to news from major countries, and to South Korea. South Korean regulator to approve digital asset fund next month. And these are countries and governments that I look up to because they are not fighting change. They want to be part of the change. They want to learn and grow with it. Unlike Africa, where I think most of our leaders are afraid. I don't know whether they're afraid of cryptocurrency and stuff, but it's interesting that this is one of the country that is looking forward to approve its first asset fund. Moving on swiftly, governing body of Louisiana gives Bitcoin its nod of approval. Louisiana recently gave a shout out to Bitcoin success in a new resolution. These are people who are looking at, we cannot fight Bitcoin anymore. We cannot like close our eyes and see and say the world, will catch up. And I think this came after I think 3 days ago. It was the day Satoshi disappeared from the internet, and I think his last words were, "I've gone to take care of other things." So we don't know who Satoshi is. We don't know whether it's a lady, a man, or a group of people. And I think even Forbes did a very good story on the disappearing of Satoshi. Let me just look for that in a few seconds, because I think it was a good way. I think I was discussing with Luis, and I was really telling him it's good that Satoshi took off. I also do agree with that, because I don't know if he's still around. What could he be doing? And also for me, I'm like, let me just look for these news. I think I shared with somebody. Yeah, I get it. Just 1 second. About disappearance of Satoshi Nakamoto. And for us guys who are in the crypto space, I always say, Just 1 second. Just 1 second, I get these news. There we go. Copied. Stop share. Just 1 second. I just open these. It's good. Also, we get to see what Forbes was talking about when it comes to disappearing of Satoshi Nakamoto. Just give me 1 second. In the meantime, you can be dropping any questions you have on the chat room. I'm sure Louis will be answering all that for us. So here we are. I've got it. So let me come back and share my screen. So this was from Forbes magazine, as you can see over there. And of course, the topic was 10 years ago today, Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto sent his final message. This write-up was done by a gentleman called Peter Razzo. And I was listening to his podcast. He was interviewed somewhere, and he was discussing how Satoshi left the space. So basically, it was on April 26th, 2011, Bitcoin creator Satoshi Nakamoto sent his final emails to fellow developers in which he made clear he had moved on to other projects. At that time of handing over a cryptographic key he used to send network-wide alerts. Flash forward to 2021, the Bitcoin story is in many ways still just beginning. Have that in mind. And this goes now again to what Louis was sharing earlier enough. So with the price reaching new highs above 60,000, there is increasing recognition of Nakamoto's invention, a digital money free from control of any central party or government, and its necessity. So now heralded by musicians, politicians, and human rights advocates, Bitcoin is in the midst of a mainstream momentum. Yet, much remains a mystery about the still unknown Satoshi Nakamoto. That's why today I published a new research that presents for the first time a full exploration of Satoshi Nakamoto time and lead of Bitcoin project. So that's part of what I was reading the whole of this week. And of course, that entitled was called The Last Days of Satoshi, What Happened When Bitcoin's Creator Disappeared. I was listening to this podcast, and it was really intriguing to know that Satoshi decided to hand over what he had created to other developers. And I think this is what has made Bitcoin be what it is today. That the owner has no control over everything, yet other developers can come and do amazing stuff on it and still progress to where it is today. So moving on, this was brought by these news from Louisiana. Moving on swiftly as to Australia. Australian Senate committee calls for national blockchain land registry. So these are other use cases of blockchain. So blockchain, just like internet, started with email. But as we go on this whole decade, you'll see and hear so many other use cases that blockchain can be used. And one of them is land registry. I think also in Kenya, there was some time that I had a conversation of how our land ministry can also use blockchain. I don't know how far that has gone. Moving on swiftly to Norway. And of course, you can look at that. Norway to start digital currency test after 4 years of research. So this is something we've been talking about, CBDCs, central bank digital currencies. And you can see for the last 4 years, Norway has been researching on how to come up with their own digital currency. And of course, right now they are ready to test it. Moving on to other news, Turkish central bank chief rules out crypto ban. More details in 2 weeks. I think part of what is happening with central banks is that, and I can say this from a quote I got from one of my friends. He says, anything you don't seem to understand, you tend to criticize. And I think this is how I think a lot of central banks are approaching Bitcoin. They don't understand it, so the first thing they do is to reject it. So Turkish central bank was one of the governing bodies that had banned crypto. But again, you see now they want to do away with the crypto ban. Because at the end of it all, you'll notice and realize that even if you come up with very strict restrictions in cryptocurrency, it's decentralized. People gonna still use it. It's just like countries that say you cannot use internet. If they block using internet, you can bypass that using VPNs. So there's something people really need to understand, that Satoshi accomplished something that you cannot really win by fighting it. You can only win by you understanding it and helping your fellow countrymen to understand it. Moving on to Russia. Russian Space Agency uses blockchain to protect intellectual property. Other use cases of what? Of blockchain technology. And I think we're gonna see a whole lot of things. Other people, other organizations, more people coming to really use blockchain for other use cases. So you can see we've gone from land registry, now we are to protect intellectual properties. So these are some of the other use cases that is in Russia. Let's go all the way to Iran. And of course, you can see there, Iran authorizes banks and currency exchangers to use cryptocurrency to pay for imports. I like that. So unlike other countries that are fighting and blocking cryptocurrencies, Iran goes ahead and tells banks and cryptocurrency and currency exchangers to use cryptocurrencies to pay for imports. And you can imagine, like, if they allow people to pay, if they accept, this is a way of you as a country to hold an asset that is that does not suffer inflation. Unlike when you get fiat currency, that in years it will lose value through inflation. Bitcoin has proven that it's the only kind of asset that gains a value with time because of its limited supply. So Iran is one of the countries that has been big in terms of accepting cryptocurrency. So you can see they are encouraging banks and currency exchanges to use cryptocurrency to pay for imports. Moving on swiftly to Germany. And of course, the news says, damn huge. Germany opens up to institutional crypto funds. This is big because a new law means that around 4,000 existing institutional investment funds will now be eligible to invest in crypto assets. And this is where I usually say, crypto is just in the beginning. We are just starting. We're just starting. So and you're good if you are already in the space. Moving on swiftly to Europe. European Investment Bank sold $121 million in 2 years notes on Ethereum. Ethereum is another blockchain. It was the second biggest alternative coin from Bitcoin. And Ethereum blockchain is used for so many purposes like smart contracts, DeFi, NFTs also are being built on Ethereum blockchain. And you can see European Investment Bank sells $121 million worth of 2-year notes on Ethereum. So the investment arm of the European Union teamed with Santander and Goldman Sachs to sell digital bonds on Ethereum blockchain. These are some other use cases that you're gonna see on blockchain technology. And moving still in Germany, Deutsche Bank CIO predicts crypto isn't going anywhere. So Louis shared with us about growth of cryptocurrency and why you should consider. So you can see it's amazing to see now people who have run institutional banks coming and says, if you're thinking like Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies are gonna go down, you're lying to yourself. They are not going anywhere. So it's for you now to gain to get the right information, position yourself, and also take advantage of, like, we are still in the early adoption. We've not even gone to majority. So you're still very early in the crypto space. So moving on swiftly to Chinese, and top Chinese banks promote CBDC over local payment firms for shopping festivals. We all know that a lot of people have been using Alipay and WeChat Pay in China to facilitate. It's just like how we use mobile money transfers here in Kenya and other places. So in China, they use what we call WeChat Pay and Alipay. So banks right now, they are promoting the CBDC over Alipay and WeChat. And I guess this is something sometimes back, I think last year we were discussing. What's gonna happen to even mobile money transfer companies when countries come up with CBDCs? And I think I was reading in one of the news from European Bank, ESC, and they were talking about, will CBDCs come and compete with banks, number one, and also other money transfer companies. And I think this is something that maybe with time we're gonna know the real truth, because already you can see in China, digital yuan is now competing with old way of you transacting with money, which is Alipay and WeChat. So I don't know what's gonna happen when most governments come up with their own CBDCs. We are yet to see. So again, I already shared about that. European Investment Bank. It's also good to note, this is another Chinese company on a retail giant. JD.com adopts digital yuan for salary payments. So you can see the growth of digital yuan CBDC, that a lot of companies around are shifting from old ways to new ways of doing things. So Chinese e-commerce company JD.com has upped its support for the country's central bank digital currency. So you can get your salary if you work in JD.com using digital yuan. Moving on swiftly, Coinbase offers new Bitcoin buying option with PayPal. Coinbase is one of the biggest crypto exchange in the US. And of course, they got listed just the other day also. And right now, they are allowing you to buy crypto using cards, and it's linked to your PayPal account. So this shows you the growth of cryptocurrencies all over. So Coinbase has announced that US customers can now buy crypto using debit cards and bank accounts linked to PayPal. In previous conversation with Decrypt, PayPal CEO Dan Schulman talked about why the payments giants has entered the crypto space. So these are news that has been happening this week. And moving on swiftly, University of Wyoming to generate revenue from crypto staking. Public education is expensive. One university is experimenting with crypto for funding. Great news coming over there. And maybe just to elaborate what crypto staking is where I usually say this, like having money in a fixed deposit account where you earn interest by you holding that money for a certain period of time. So that's what we call crypto staking, where you give your cryptocurrencies maybe to exchanges or any other crypto fund, and you earn interest over a fixed period of time. That's crypto staking. So University of Wyoming is looking at, of course, raising more funds through crypto funding. And this tells you for them to do crypto staking, they have to have crypto. You cannot do staking when you don't have cryptocurrency. So this is a university that shows you that, of course, they are holding cryptocurrency. Moving on swiftly to Zurich. University of Zurich adds Cardano to their blockchain curriculum for 2021. Cardano is one of the other blockchain. We have Bitcoin blockchain, we have Ethereum blockchain. Cardano also has its own private blockchain. And of course, the University of Zurich will include a class on Cardano in its deep dive into blockchain 2021 curriculum. So you can see also universities are really moving into teaching students more on blockchain education. And this is amazing. This is just amazing. Looking forward to more university also doing the same. And moving on to another place, Caracas Airport adopts Bitcoin as a new payment method. So this is Venezuela's leading aviation academy has started accepting Bitcoin. Venezuela's leading aviation academy has started accepting Bitcoin. So that's some other news that popped up this week. Now, moving on to other news, as I'm almost coming to the end, Microsoft, Apple, and MicroStrategy stock tokens to be listed on Binance. And this now tells you something, that in the near future, you will see a lot of companies tokenizing their shares, their stocks, and a lot of other stuff. So it's good to see Binance, one of the leading exchanges in the whole world, allowing people to also trade Microsoft, Apple, and MicroStrategy stock tokens. So this can be a lesson for another day, but just to note that you will soon be able to trade Apple, Microsoft, and MicroStrategy stock tokens on Binance. These you can learn. We can learn some other time about tokenization of corporate shares and stuff. So moving on swiftly to my last news is that Bitcoin incentives renewable energy. Incentivizes renewable energy, agree Elon Musk and Jack Dorsey. So of course, these are two big giants who own Bitcoin, and also their companies do allow people, I think Jack Dorsey also allowed their employees, whoever wishes to get their salary using Bitcoin to apply for that. Tesla just the other day, they bought Bitcoins. It's owned by Elon Musk. So Square and ARK Investment argue that Bitcoin miners can bolster the efficiency of renewable energy industry by acting as an electricity buyer of last resort. So these are two big players who've been in Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies for quite a while. And you can see part of what they are doing also is to help in Bitcoin mining. And Bitcoin mining is what helps Bitcoin really run, blockchain technology run. So according to this tweet, you can see Bitcoin incentivizes renewable energy. This was Square Crypto. If Bitcoin needs anything, it's more white papers. In this one, at Square and at ARK investment team to argue for Bitcoin as a key driver of renewable energy's future. And Elon Musk tweeted, true. So you can see they are supporting each other, and also they're thinking about the same thing. So that ends my news today. I do want to go deeper. You can always have all these news if you so wish. So with that, if there's no question, I'm sure Luis has been answering all the questions on the chat. I just want to wish you all a blessed weekend, but more so, let's continue learning. Let's continue trying to understand the space. Do your own research before you make any investment. Don't listen to any crypto experts. We are all students. We are all learning. And more so, take care of your hard-earned money. I know we are in Bitcoin bull market. Every person right now is a crypto expert. Every person will show you how you're going to make money within the shortest time possible. Don't fall for that. Do your own research, and especially if you're a new person in the cryptocurrency space, don't be a fanatic. Always ask questions. Be that person who always asks questions, so that you can also take care of your hard-earned cash. So with that, I do pray and hope all of you have found value in what we've shared today in Bitcoin 101. Louis, do you have any parting shots?
So yeah, I think that does it for me. Unless there's anybody who wants to say something or maybe comment from the guests that we have today, then we give applause. So anybody with a maybe a verbal question, maybe you didn't get a chance to type it, you can can raise your hand, then I can unmute you, then you can give it a go, maybe 2 minutes, then we give it, then you close. So anyone? Okay, yes. So if nothing, then Lawrence, I think that does it for me. Looking forward for next week. So Anthony, so you're saying you're remembering something. Maybe you can maybe type it in or unmute yourself. Then you can ask. So yes, Anthony.
Thanks, Luis. Thanks. Thanks. This was a great session. You mentioned, I think, Lawrence, when you started off, you mentioned something about the NFT, the DeFi, and maybe the other use cases that are currently being used in the blockchain space.
Yeah.
Do you guys have maybe a plan to basically have these types of implementations, for example, or how they're basically being used at the moment?
Maybe Lawrence, could you think you're breaking? You're really network is a bit bad. Maybe you can type it in.
Oh, let me type it in. I think my network has.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, as Anthony is stepping in, so he says, okay, maybe I'll have to mute everyone again because I think it's not mute everyone. Or rather, Lawrence, you think you can mute everyone? Then, okay, so I think Valerie says, yes, how can we invest in NFT real smart and DeFi? So as I wait for Anthony to type in his question, perhaps maybe Lawrence, you can maybe share your thoughts on that before we close as we wait for Anthony.
Great question, Val. How can we invest in NFTs, Real Smart, and DeFi? For me, though, I never offer like financial advice. Number one, I know for DeFi, it's high risk, high return. So I haven't gone into any DeFi projects so far. I think I'm doing a short course on the same just to get to understand how things are done. I don't usually invest before I get to really understand what happens. For NFTs, I think Luis was working on something in NFT. So we have not really like gotten into NFT and DeFi. But for Real Smart, I bought my first, I think, Real Smart tokens just the other day. I usually say I'll test it first before I speak about it. So for Real Smart, yes, this is something I'm going to go big in because for me, real estate is big. And if I see how the world is leading and heading, everything is being tokenized. So if I can get a platform where I know I can really get value for my money, I usually take the risk. So yes, Real Smart, I did my first purchase, I think yesterday or the day before yesterday. And I'm just watching it and understanding it. Why I did just a small portion is number one, to understand how the process works. And then after that, I'll get to understand more value. I think next week we'll be organizing another session for Real Smart. We'll confirm that so that you can come and ask questions. Even to date, I was just telling Luis, I keep Bruce, I keep Anton, I keep Fololo on their toes. Why? Because I really want to understand how can I really get maximum profit or maximum benefits from Real Smart. But I think it's a really brilliant idea. So for Real Smart, I can say I'm in. But for NFTs and DeFi, maybe in the next few months, maybe that's my thought. But for now, I would say I'm so deep into cryptocurrency. Cryptocurrency, that's where my heart is. Now a little bit onto Real Smart estate, about real estate through Real Smart. But with time, I know we're going to get into DeFi, and maybe once Louis finishes with what he's doing with NFTs, maybe if it's something which can also be of benefits, I wouldn't mind. But for now, I'm big into crypto, no, but learning about DeFi, Real Smart, and NFTs. Louis, your thought?
Okay, yeah, so thanks, Lawrence, for that insight. I think for me, I think I also in the same wavelength, whereby you have to see first, you have to see the value, you have to see beyond the hype, you have to see what is the underlying values that all these projects are bringing. I mean, Anthony, that was a good question. I think also Valerie, you actually you refined it in terms of how can one start with NFTs, Real Smart, and DeFi. So it's a whole spectrum of ideas of value in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. One just needs to know where is the real value, because that is now what where you'll actually find. Of course, you'll find a good return on your worth, depending on how you choose to whether small or big. So for us as Decrypt, that's our work to analyze these projects, to check out whether they are really valuable, and then we can, of course, that's of course it's our own opinion. It's not a financial advice. It's doing best from where we sit. That's what I like calling it. But yes, there's a lot of value in NFTs. I think we saw how Kipchoge basically digitized his own like marathon digital footprint, and he sold it for 4 million. Yes, I'm also trying something out, seeing whether it will work. But yes, we'll be sharing more of these NFTs as we go by in this Bitcoin 101. We also now, of course, on Real Smart, which is a tokenized real estate platform. We're going to share more details on that as we go by. I think some of us here were in that meeting. I think Valerie was there. I don't know whether Alex was. I think G-Touch was there also. So we'll see how we're going to move it forward as we go by. But in essence, this is how now everything is getting tokenized. Everything is now coming down to like real life uses. This is what we are talking about. And with that, I think that does it for me. I think what Makio Dennis says, you have a question. Maybe yeah, maybe Lawrence, you can unmute Makio. Then we call it a day. So in a few minutes, I think Makio, you can ask a question.
All right, Lawrence and Louis, thanks for this day. I hope you can hear me well. So I have a question, and the question is, recently I've been seeing some upcoming crypto projects and some blockchain games that claim to earn people money when they get involved in them. Games like the Alien World and some more. Now my question is, do you think this kind of games and this kind of crypto projects that are upcoming, are they really valuable? Are they projects or something that as a serious investor in crypto space, you can get into, or they're just, let me say, some crypto noise or some market noise that are just there maybe and will eventually disrupt the main business in the crypto world? Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Makio. That's a practical question. And I think I'll ask you back. I'll answer with a question. Looking at your, let's say, your 24 hours in a day as Makio, maybe just type it on the chat. How many times do you play a mobile phone game? Just type it on the chat. How many times do you play a game? Or what is your frequency of playing a a game, then I think that question will exactly, you don't play at all. So is that a use case? I think that answers you. I think that so you need to at times look on the basis point on a simple point of view whether that thing actually has value. Because the reason why Bitcoin has value is because everybody is transacting globally with money. That's why Bitcoin has value. If you talk about, let's say, what Ethereum, everybody is trying to build a contract to solve something. That's why Ethereum is valued at X amount of money. But when somebody says, okay, when you say millions too, that is that is something that maybe it is not maybe in Africa, but because one needs to monetize that. That's why if you look at, let's say, Japan, South Korea, the US, that's where now those projects actually make real sense. We have projects I know on blockchain that are actually valued at so much because of the kind of economic setup they are in and where they can actually monetize that. So with what I think Makio said, that I don't think I'm quite familiar with that, and I think I wouldn't comment so much. But yes, there are projects out there that are real, and there are projects, there are actually 90% that are just briefcase projects. That's what I can say. I think that does it for me. So maybe Lawrence, you can close the session on the see you all next week, and make sure you follow our channel for the news updates and also the link for the Real Smart session that will be holding in the next couple of days. So thank you, and bye-bye.
Great, and yeah, just to add on what Luis has talked about, the NFT games and stuff. Yes, there are great projects that are happening, especially in South Korea, Asian countries where people do play a lot. People do find value in it. But again, not all cryptocurrencies you see on CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko will see the end of the light at the end of the tunnel. Some of the projects will die. Some of the projects will be discontinued. Some of them are scams that basically don't have any use case, but people are there promoting them. And this is where we usually just say, do your own research before you make any investment. Do your own research. DYOR. Do your own research. Don't go for these online social media and stuff, things of like, oh, invest in these, you're gonna make these and these and these, and especially these places where you get guaranteed income. There's nothing that is like guaranteed income in this world. I was reading another article from Warren Buffett. I think it's on my WhatsApp wall and stuff, and he says, if I may look for it and just end my lesson with this quote, he says something about investing. Warren Buffett is one of the greatest of the investors we have in the whole world. And he says, impatient people are attracted to money, while money is attracted to patient people. Impatient people are attracted to money, while money is attracted to patient people. Why do I want to end this session with this? Because if you look at the crypto space, we all want to make a quick buck out of it. We're just jumping on board and we want to become a millionaire in the next day and stuff. And I don't think that's how wealthy people work. And this is the reason as to why, for me, I get a lot of people sending me, join these. Like this week, I had someone who is one of the influential guys in the social media. He's, I think, a musician. And he was talking about Forex, where I put, I think, $250. I'll be making, I don't know how much per month. And it doesn't make sense to me, because if it's so easy to make money, if it's so easy to multiply what I have, why am I working hard every day? Why am I sleeping 2-3 hours a day? It's not easy, man. And I think this is why I encourage each and every other person, don't just fall on any online stuff that is out there advertising for how you can make money easy, how you can go out and get rich quick. Always do your own research, ask the right questions, and look for the right information for you to make the right decisions. So my end quote is, become a patient person so that you can attract money. Become a patient person so that you can attract money. Don't become an impatient person who will always attract money. So God bless you all. Have a great weekend, and see you next week for the Real Smart midweek, and also for Bitcoin 101 on Saturday. God bless you all. Have a great weekend, and I wish you all the best in everything that you intend to do. Have a great, blessed month